Hello, welcome to this mega short video tutorial. This one is just about short questions, in particular on paper 1, and we are looking at a 4-mark question. So what are they? So on the education paper at the full A level there are 2 short questions. One is a 4-mark, one is a 6-mark. So what are they? So these questions ask you to outline 2 or 3 things. These could be factors, reasons, features, causes, 2 effects, 2 ways, 2 problems, 2 advantages, 2 disadvantages. For example, you could be asked 3 functions that the education system might perform. In terms of answering this question, your answer should be short. So for every point that you're asked for, 1 or 2 sentences will be enough. Just make sure that you are addressing the question. So for example, in this one, highlight what the function is and state what is it performing and who is it performing it for. Start each new point on a separate line. Visually, this means that you can see that you have given either 2 points or 3 points, and it also makes it easier for the examiner to identify separate points as well. If you're not sure if all your points are right, but you can think of an extra one, you can pop an extra one down. The examiner will mark all the ones that are correct. So let's have a look at one in particular, which is an outline 2 criticisms of functionalist approach to education. Okay, so if you're looking at that question, you will need to identify what the criticisms are and why is it criticising the functionalist approach to education. So you need to have a little bit of knowledge. So if we start to have a look at the way that these answers are marked, here is a mock-up of a possible mark scheme. You will see that you will get a mark for the identification points and you'll get a mark for the explanation as well. Okay, so what I've outlined here for you is a range of different criticisms that different sociologists make of the functionalist approach to education. Okay, so as you can see, you'll get a mark for each of the qualifying points. So if I go through them, just to clarify, so a first criticism is it doesn't teach specialist skills. This is in particular criticising Durkheim's claim that the role of education is to teach specialist skills for a workforce. The new right in particular, so this is your explanation, would argue that this fails to prepare children adequately for the workforce that Durkheim was claiming. You could use vocational education being low quality, and that high quality apprenticeships are also rare, and the majority of students are on courses that do not lead to a higher education or a good job. So it's not teaching the specialist skills in which Durkheim claimed. The second criticism, meritocracy being a myth. This is criticising the functionalist view of education, which is meritocracy. Marxists would argue that equal opportunity is rare. Middle class do better than working class. Equal opportunities does not exist. So you've got your statement and you've got your qualifying mark. Another view that functionalists have is that it instills shared values. So a criticism from Marxist and feminist would argue that it doesn't instill shared values, it actually instills the values of patriarchy or capitalism. And a final criticism is that there is an over-socialised view of education. Interactionist would argue that people are not puppets of society. They don't passively accept the school rules or the norms and the values, and in reality some students actively reject these values. Okay, so just to clarify, you need to give a criticism and then explain what that criticism is. In this case, I have referred to another sociologist and they are stating what part of the functionalist view that they are criticising, if that makes sense. Okay. So thank you for watching. If you've got any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. If you've got any specific questions from exam papers that you want me to go through the mark scheme or anything like that, I am more than happy to do that. This is the main view of these video tutorials, is to help you along. Okay, so thank you for listening, and I hope to speak to you all again soon.